Last year, when I held my award ceremony for effect pedals, every effect category was filled with compelling pedals and amazing sounds. But when it came to flanger, there was nothing. And so I thought, why is no one talking about flanger pedals? Why do I not care about flanger pedals? Like, do the only people who care about flanger pedals just pick up one of these and call it a day? I got my hands on every flanger pedal I could find, so I could finally get to the bottom of this, and when I did, I was really surprised. Flanger started as a studio effect back in the 60s. So they would take two tape machines and they would push down on the flange of one of them to create that effect. So flanger started being used more and more in mixes, and eventually it somehow turned into people wanting their guitars to sound like this. The first time I can remember hearing flanger was when I listened to Blink-182's Feeling This, where they put flanger on the drums. I think that's probably my favorite way to use flanger, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna put this stereo flanger, Pyramids, on our friend Joe's drums. Pyramids was my first flanger pedal, and for me, it was like the ultimate flanger pedal. Pyramids actually made me realize that I don't really like traditional flanger sounds, and I actually held off on checking out other flanger pedals for a while, just because this can make non-traditional flanger sounds, which is what I like. I think the flanger pedal that suits my playing style the best is Oblivion by SolidGoldFX, and I think a lot of that has to do with this toggle here that turns it into a bit crushing flanger. That made me realize that combining flangers with other things can make it really fun. So here's how I'd use this in a track. I'm gonna make my Moog synths sound like 8-bit and crunchy. And then I'm gonna use this on the lead line, which sounds like this. Okay, I'm really excited to show you this next one because the kind folks over at Chase Bliss let me borrow their Specter pedal, which is discontinued, but I thought it was important to include because I think these are really important and pretty revolutionary. Mostly because of the dip switches at the top. They let you automate certain knob movements of the pedal. Instead of that like constant flanger whooshing the whole time, you can have the flanger like fade in and out in a really nice, subtle way. Probably the coolest way that I found to use Specter is to set it so that the bypass switch acts as like a momentary flanger. So it flanges when you hold it down, and eventually the flange will like fade out, and there won't be any more flanger until you press it down again. Solid Noise Flatlight has 3 different modes, and it can do stuff like combine flanger with pitch shifting. But my favorite mode is the echo mode, where you combine flanger with echo. I think the biggest problem when it comes to flangers is that too many people associate it with that jet engine plane sound, and they don't realize that you can do a lot more with flanger pedals. You don't have to just do that. You don't have to do just like classic flanger sounds. There's a whole world of flanger sounds out there for you to explore.
Because that's how we felt before diving into this.
Yeah.
We wanted to know why we don't like flangers.
Yeah, why did I hate it?
We just didn't try enough of it, and we didn't look at applications outside obvious use of it.
Yeah.
And the classic use of it. And a lot of people just write it off.
Yeah, it's like olives. You know what I mean? People write it off so easily when they're actually delicious. They don't give them a chance. They don't give them a chance. No, they don't give them a chance. They think an olive is a certain thing, and they don't like realize how you can use it. You can put on pizza, you can slice them up, eat them in little bits. The ThorpyFX Camoflange came heavily recommended to me by people whose opinions I really trust when it comes to effects pedals. This is like my go-to for classic flanger sounds. And you know why else I like it?
Why?
I like it because I can use it to check if my hair is messy. Because it's a mirror. It's really nice. You would never catch me using classic flanger sounds in like a rock band context. Like I wouldn't be shredding it up, but you would catch me using it alongside synths. I found it was pretty difficult to find flanger pedals with different waveform options, and after all our research, I think these are the only flanger pedals that have different waveform options, and none of them have all the waveforms. My favorite waveform to use on any effect is reverse sawtooth, and the only flanger pedal that I found that has that as an option is the Dreadbox Flanger. If you turn either sawtooth slow enough, it starts to emulate like a barber pole flange. So what a barber pole flange is an effect that continuously either goes up or continuously goes down. This one's not a true barber pole flange effect because it resets, which gives it a nice quirk. But if you want a true barber pole flange effect, Pyramids has a barber pole flange up or down option. This flanger is called Starlight, and my friend Frederick let me borrow it for the video, so thank you so much, Frederick. It has some really cool out-of-the-box stuff like 18-step and 16-step flanging modes. and I'm pretty sure it's the only flanger pedal other than Pyramids that has a random mode. So if you're looking for a flanger pedal that has a random mode, but Pyramids is a little bit out of your price range, Starlight could be a good option. I know we've been talking about out-of-the-box flangers, but this one takes out-of-the-box in a whole different direction. It really leans into that classic rocket sound that we hear in some flangers. It even has a knob called Rocket. It also comes with this expression pad, which allows you to make things a little more weird. There are some pedals out there that have flanger as just one of the modes. I used this pedal earlier in the video on the vibrato setting. Nebulous can be a good option for you if you don't want to go like all in on flanger sounds just yet. So to take this a step further, stay with me. There are some pedals that are not referred to as flanger pedals, but if you get the right settings, they can do flanging. So for example, the Earthquake Ear Devices Aurelius, the Death by Audio Space Bender, or the Old Blood Noise Endeavors BL82. So you're probably wondering what happened to these two pedals that I showed in the beginning of this video. I was able to borrow this one from my good friend Ian, and it's the BF2, the analog flanger from Boss that is now discontinued. This is like the classic flanger pedal that a lot of bands like The Cure use, and a lot of people just swear by this one. This one is the BF3. It's the flanger that Boss makes now. And the main difference between the BF3 and the BF2 is that the BF3 is digital. It's also got a lot more options than the BF2. At its core, it's still got that classic flanger sound. And this is the flanger pedal that all the guitar forums will recommend that you get, no matter what. No matter your preferences, no matter if you ask for what flanger you need to buy, they're gonna say this. I really enjoyed making this video, but the problem with this specific kind of video format is that there are constantly new effect pedals coming out, and I bet you within the next couple months there's gonna be a really cool flanger pedal that comes out that I'm gonna wish I would have included in this overview / compilation. So subscribe. If that happens, I'll update the video description and let you know about the new cool and hip flanger pedals that come out. So don't worry, but also subscribe anyway.